Hello everyone, this is Brett. I'm a witness of the Lord and I'm making this video today to give my testimony. Well, I guess it started a little over 4 years ago now. I woke up to what was going on in the world, and between all the corruption and the chaos of all of the things that were, that I found that were being put into our food, fluoride in our water, spraying chemicals in our skies, blocking out the sun. The sun really is the giver of life here on earth. And then along with, just all the government corruption, and I realize that, that we're already, been under attack for quite some time now. And it just really saddened me knowing that what was going on was, for real, number one. And then number two, I've always been a Christian, and pretty much most of my life. When I was, a young child, I had, someone's doing a little target practice up there, it sounds like. And, I'd asked Jesus in my heart when I was a child, and he's been there through my life. I can testify to that. There's a lot of times where, I should have been in a lot of trouble, and I didn't. There's times I've been through my troubles. There was, I've had a couple of near-death experiences, but anyhow, back to my testimony. I've always had Jesus in my heart. But I was living in sin. I was deceived with all of the, the Hollywood, the movies and the mainstream and the music industry and everything. And when I woke up, to the reality of this world and what it really is, I thought I was just living the American dream there for a while, and enjoying life. And I've always been a good-hearted guy, hard worker, take care of my family, but I had, I guess a lot of selfish, wishes and desires, through the flesh. And I acted upon a lot of them, and your conscience kicks in, when you're about to act something out. You get that kind of a little bit of an adrenaline feeling. And after a while of doing stuff like that, I guess you kind of get a little more desensitized to it, and it seems like everything's okay. This is what everyone else around me is doing. This is the norm. But anyhow, like I said, after I found out everything that was going on, I just, I cried out to the Lord and I prayed. I really had a lot of, mixed emotions on what I could do. What can I do? I'm only one man in this, in this world, and to help people and to wake people up, or to stop the attack on humanity with all of the poisons in our food and the air and the water. And that was just, the beginning of me waking up when I realized all that. And it was months of just digging and, trying to find the truth and trying to get peace of mind and trying to, do the right thing. What can I do? And so finally, out of frustration and, well, out of, I guess I would say, frustration, fear, um, and, wanting to, wanting to, to help in some matter or whatever. I just, one night I decided to renew my vows with God. I prayed for him to, basically, touch my heart with your love and forgiveness. Forgive me for, for all the sins that I've done. And not that, I was, I mean, a horrible person, living in sin. But I mean, it's not like I've ever, I guess I'm saying I've never, wanted or hurt or did hurt, any of God's women or children or anything like that. But anyhow, so when I prayed to him and asked for his love and forgiveness and for him to come back in my life, I prayed for him to remove any evil demons and spirits that might dwell within me. And it was at that moment I felt this, like I had these 3 demons inside of me. And I believe that there was, that, they strongly, kind of ruled my life in day-to-day situations. Not to say, 100% of the time, but they were there and I felt them. It was basically, there was a fear demon, there was like a lust demon, and a drug demon that kind of plagued my thoughts and some of my habits through my life. And I literally felt him like be removed from me, and I felt this clear consciousness, like the Lord truly, forgave me. And then this fearlessness came upon me, and it's just an incredible feeling of peace with the forgiveness and the fearlessness. I felt like I woke up like Neo woke up in the movie The Matrix, and he was all plugged into all these, living in a tank of, like I just woke up and crawled out of the abyss of the Matrix. And so that was the beginning of it. And so, after that, and then the next day I was like, how can I, I'd love to share this feeling with people that I know so that they could have it too. But I've never really preached about, I'm not a preacher, and I was kind of, a newborn, and I knew, what I felt in my heart. It was just, such a great feeling, and I wanted to share it. And so, that's, I think the Lord read what was in my heart, and lo and behold, 2 days later after that, and this was, I want to say this was August 10th, 2014. It was Saturday. I woke up out of a restless sleep Saturday morning around, I don't know, around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I heard this noise, and it was kind of like, sounded like we had a little portable heater in our room. And it kind of was like, what is that noise I'm hearing? It kind of sounds kind of squeakly, or I was listening to it, and it began to sound like you would hear children hymning these different notes, like something from like in a cathedral church or something. Just all of these like beautiful voices with these hymns, not words, just like hymns of these different tones, almost knowing that it sounded like, children hymning musical notes, almost kind of like if it was an instrument. And then I began to hear this voice speaking very hastily, and I couldn't understand what he was saying, and I couldn't understand what I was hearing. at first I thought my heater was gonna break down or do something, or it was making a funny noise, and then it turned into, sounding like angels singing, and then and I heard this voice speaking. I'm like, what's going on? The kids are upstairs. Everyone's asleep. There's not a TV or radio on. My wife was asleep next to me. I was awake. This wasn't a dream. And I said to myself, God, it sounds like angels are singing and God's talking to me. And then I heard him say clearly, I am the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. There are many lost souls that I want to be saved, and there's not much time left. I want you to go out and tell everyone you know of my name and my words, as well as your own wisdom and knowledge. And then he said, if you do, I will one day make you immortal. And if you don't, you will perish here on the end times of earth with many hardships beyond your wildest imaginations. And then this other chorus of angels started singing, and it sounded like something that you would hear like in a Viking crusade movie. And they were singing, and forgive my voice, I don't have that high-pitched voice. They were singing, heaven is calling, thy kingdom come. Heaven is falling, thy kingdom come. And they repeated those verses several times, and then they stopped, and I heard the Father say, he said, I'm leaving this last chance of faith only unto you. Rise up now and go. And I was laying in there, and I'm taking all this in, and I'm thinking to myself, God, there's got to be better men than me that can spread your word. I don't feel like I was, a very, more, mostly, righteous enough to carry on what he was asking me to do. And I was kind of doubting myself, is this for real? And then he said it again, rise up now and go. And I was like, okay, and I got up out of bed and hopped in the shower, and I was like, wow, I was just so full of the Holy Spirit. I could barely, the words could barely come out of my mouth. For several, the first couple weeks, I was just out of breath trying to, tell people what had happened, and what I feel, and what the Lord told me. And it took some time to just relax, and but anyhow, so the first thing I did was I went to there was a river. I was in Aberdeen at the time, and I had found these people that were living on the river. They were homeless. And so I thought to myself, well, there's some people I could tell them, obviously, I guess who cares if, they think I'm crazy or not, or, they're probably, a lot of them are on drugs, and, so, and, and I'm not being, saying that in a way negatively on homeless people, because a lot of homeless people are out of their homes for a lot of various reasons, and I believe probably by now most of them it's not because of a drug issue or a problem, it's just because of the economy and the housing situation, and a combination of, anything can go wrong in life these days, and you can get behind financially very easily. And anyhow, I went to the store, and I put a bunch of sandwiches together, and some coffee and some juice, and I went down there, and I had a friend that knew some of those people, and he pulled them out, and I began to witness what I experienced to them, as far as And it went well, it went okay. And then, you know, and then I started with phone calls with my family. And